So Fortnite has had a good amount of mythic SMGs ever since Chapter 2 Season 1. So in this video, I want to rank all 14 of them from worst to best. But before we get into it, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to help me reach 6,000 subs by the end of the year. Now without further delay, let's get into it. In 14th place is Bender's Shiny Metal Ray Gun and Zig and Choppy's Ray Gun. Since they're basically the exact same gun, this has a DPS of 196, which is pretty high. It only does 13 damage a hit, which is very low compared to the rest of the list. It only does 7 damage to structures, so it basically does 0 pressure to builds, and it can't get you into a box, which is very important for an SMG. So that's a huge negative. And these are literally the only weapon on the list to have this problem, so it makes it like horrible. It has an insane fire rate of 15, which unfortunately doesn't matter that much because it can't break structures. It has infinite ammo, which is a big positive, and it had a pretty short cooldown speed of 2.12 seconds. Overall, it would be way higher if it did damage to structures. In 13th place is the enhanced Surge Fire SMG, and it has a pitiful DPS of 116, which is just bad. It only does 16 damage a hit, which is pretty trash, especially with a fire rate of only 7.25, which isn't much on the list. It has a huge mag size of 40, which is this gun's only good stat. It has a reload speed of 2.81 seconds, which is decent. This gun has no actual good stats, but it's higher than the ray guns. It actually does damage to builds. In 12th place is the E11 Blaster, and for some reason it counts as an SMG, but it has a DPS of 182, which is pretty solid. It does a whopping 32 damage a hit, which is on the higher side of the list. It has a fire rate of 5.7, which is low, but the damage makes up for it. It has the bonus for infinite ammo with an effective mag size of 34, which is very good. Overall, it does a ton of damage, but isn't too fast, and it has pretty bad accuracy as well. In 11th place is Thorn's Scope Burst SMG, and it has a DPS of 182, which is solid. It does 16 damage a hit, which is alright. It has an above average mag size of 32. It has a very fast fire rate of 11.42, so it can get a ton of shots off. It has a short reload speed of 2.04 seconds, and it also has a scope on it, so it can be way more accurate. Overall, it has some low damage, but some insane speed and accuracy. In 10th place is Valeria's Modular Hyper SMG, and it has a DPS of 204, which is very high, and if you manage to hit every single shot, you can kill someone in 1 second. It does 17 damage a hit, which is slightly above average. It has a large mag size of 38, so it can shoot for a while. It has a fire rate of 12, which means it shoots at the speed of light, which is a huge positive. It has a short reload of 2 seconds. It also has weapon mods, the first of which being a scope, which helps with accuracy. It has a drum mag, which increases its mag size, but vertical foregrip, which makes it more accurate, and lastly a suppressor, which makes it quieter. So overall, it's great for speed and accuracy. In 9th place is the Night Rose Precision SMG, and it has a high DPS of 208, so it shreds. It does a solid 20 damage a hit, and has a max size of 23, which is very low. It has a very fast fire rate of 10.4, so it shoots pretty fast, and it has good damage. It has an extremely fast reload speed of 1.74 seconds, and it might be the fastest on the list, and that's a huge bonus. It also has a scope, which makes it more accurate, and it had some good range as well. Overall, it has some good damage and high speed with great accuracy and an amazing reload speed. In 8th place is Captain Phasma's F11D Blaster, and it has a solid DPS of 199.5, so it can barely not kill someone in a second. It does a huge 30 damage a hit and has infinite ammo, which is a great bonus. It has a slow fire rate of 6.65, but it's a good amount of damage. It helps make up for it. It has a very short cooldown speed of 1.88 seconds, and overall it does a ton of damage and shoots pretty fast for how much damage it does. In 7th place is the Inquisitor Suppressed SMG, and it has a DPS of 187, which is pretty low for being this high, but it does 24 damage a hit, which is pretty good, especially with its high fire rate of 7.8. It has a large mag size at 30. It has a short reload speed of 1.8 seconds, and this gun is just great. In 6th place is the Hades Modular Harbinger SMG, and it has an insane DPS of 230, which is incredible. It does 23 damage a hit, which is pretty solid, and a fast fire rate of 10. It has a solid mag size of 30 and a short reload speed of 1.93 seconds. It also has weapon mods, the first of which being a scope, which makes it more accurate, a speed mag, which makes the reload faster, a vertical foregrip to help with accuracy, and lastly a muzzle brake, which reduces recoil. Overall, it has amazing DPS, good damage, and great accuracy. In 5th place is Midas's Modular Drum Gun, and it has a very high DPS at 212.5. It does an amazing 25 damage a hit with a pretty fast fire rate for how much damage it does, being 8.5, and the longest reload speed of 3 seconds. But large mag size helps to make up for it. It also has weapon mods, the first of which being a scope for accuracy, then a drum mag, which made the mag size larger, but it decreased its reload speed, a vertical foregrip for accuracy, and lastly a muzzle brake for recoil. It also had great range, and it was basically a fast AR. In 4th place is Gwenpool's dual micro SMGs, and this had an absolutely insane an DPS of 251.3, which just obliterates people. It did a weak 14 damage a hit, but it made up for it with the fastest fire rate of 17.95. So it might be the fastest in the game, even including miniguns, and that's a huge bonus. It has an above average mag size of 32, which is good, and a very short reload speed of 1.62 seconds. So it just absolutely shreds anything in the sights. In third place is Midas's Gilded Eye Drum Gun, and it has a very high DPS of 221, and it does a great 26 damage a hit with a great fire rate of 8.5 and a very large mag size of 40 and a decent reload speed of 2.4 seconds. It also has weapon mods, the first of which being a scope with an option for a thermal or not, so it's good for accuracy, a drum mag for a larger mag but a slower reload, and lastly a vertical foregrip for accuracy. Overall, it has everything going for it. In second place is Gunner Stinger SMG, and it has an insane DPS of 276, and this might genuinely have the highest DPS in the entire game. It does a solid 23 damage a hit and a high fire rate of 12. It has a great mag size of 30 and a short reload speed of 2 seconds. Overall, its DPS is fantastic, and the damage and fire rate are great as well, and it's an amazing gun all around. But in first place is Snoop Dogg's Drum Gun, and this weapon is just incredible. It has a fantastic DPS of 250. It does a great 25 damage a hit with a high fire rate of 10, a very large mag size of 40, and an alright reload speed of 2.7 seconds. This thing just has everything going for it and has great range as well, which on an SMG ranking is valuable. Overall, this is the best Mythic SMG in my opinion. But that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to help me reach 6,000 subs by the end of the year. Also, comment on the video in the future. And lastly, Cash Henry has some extra money you can give, but that's not funny. Goodbye.